Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 81 of the On Air Advocate. We're at the On Air Advocate. We look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited that you are joining us either here this evening or if you are catching it on the replay. Now, if you feel that any of the content that we're talking about tonight could be relevant for any of your friends, family, or network, please hit the share button and share the love with others so that they can get this information. Well, as some of you might know, if you've been following us the last few days, today is our kickoff of Cerebral Palsy Awareness Series. Yay. That's why we're in the green. We're in the green. We're sporting it today. She's got it on too. And so I could be not any more excited than I already am than to have my friends Paula and Nykiah here with us today. Hi. For them to share their family's journey with cerebral palsy, as well as different ways that you can get involved with organizations and also supports and tools and strategies that they've used over the years that have really helped them. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us again.
Hi. Are you ready?
Yes.
I know it. All right. So, Paula, can you kind of just take us through that beginning when Nykiah was diagnosed, or how did you even find out that she had CP?
Okay. Well, first of all, my pregnancy, I have Nykiah is a twin. So I was pregnant with twins mainly. And I was 37 years old. I had 5 prior miscarriages prior to having Nykiah and Kayla. So it was a pretty rough pregnancy. I was on bed rest the entire time. And the last 30 days before I had them, I was entered into the hospital because I had went into early preterm labor. So okay. I had to have surgery to basically, stop them from coming because they were coming as, earlier than they already had came. So Nykiah and Kayla was born at 32 weeks. Okay. So, studies have shown that people who are pregnant with multiple births, like multiple children, twins, triplets, they have a higher risk for cerebral palsy. So, Nykiah weighed 2 pounds when she was born, 2 pounds, 15 ounces. The twin was 2 pounds, and she was in the NICU for, I think, 33 days. She was in the NICU. So, of course, while she was there, and prior to them discharging her, they did a CAT scan of her brain. And they found that she had a mass on some part of her brain, like the periventricular part of her brain.
Okay.
So she was diagnosed with periventricular leukomalacia, which for short is PVL for short. So
that's a big word.
You had to learn. And so she was diagnosed with that. And then so we were giving an appointment to go and see a neurologist. So shortly after she got discharged from the hospital, she was probably, at age about 6 months, we actually went to see the neurologist, and he diagnosed her at an early age with cerebral palsy. So this is something that, I didn't know when I was pregnant because, again, having all the miscarriages and being 37 years old, I was taking, all the amniocentesis, took all the tests, and didn't know that anything was wrong with her. A lot of people ask me, do I think it was the fault of the doctor, or something that happened at birth, and, again, I look at it as a blessing for one, because, with the prior 5 miscarriages, I was just happy that I had a child. So again, having multiple births, I had uterine fibroids. So I had, quite a few things.
Right. Some risk factors in there.
Yeah. That was actually going against me. So, but no, I don't think it was any fault of the doctors. It was God's will. So.
Now, when they were born at, you said 32 weeks, and you guys were in the NI, during that time, did they already know that there was something different between Nykiah and Kayla?
Actually, no, because Nykiah actually was thriving better than Kayla, actually.
Okay.
Directly at birth, and Nykiah weighed 15 ounces more than Kayla. And, all of her stats and everything was really well. And she got released from the NICU even before Kayla did. So they didn't know anything until they actually just did the brain scan. and noticed the mass that was on her brain.
Okay. And then, so as a parent or parents, and you have two babies, now what were kind of those next steps? What was that like for you, that whole process? It must have been a whirlwind a
It
little
was,
bit.
and strangely enough, I really didn't know or hadn't really heard anything about cerebral palsy, prior to Nykiah being diagnosed with it. Soon as she was diagnosed, they actually led me to different social workers, different resources to actually talk to people about, how to go about it. So that really helped me out a lot. Then we got set up with different therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists. And, we just basically, it was the hand that God dealt us with, and we just
Right.
got started in therapy probably even before the 6 months she got started in therapy, because she was really tight, and that's a form of cerebral palsy that she has, spastic diplegia, spastic meaning tightness. So her and Nykiah both were actually in therapy at an early age, because Nykiah was really loose and floppy, and Nykiah was really, really tight. So they both ended up in therapy for a while.
Okay. And what are the different types, can you share with us, of CP?
Yeah, so they have 4 different types of cerebral palsy. One of them is like a monotype, which is basically like one limb could be affected. It could be one arm, one leg, and then they have hemiplegia, which could be one half of your body. So hemiplegia could be your bottom half that could be affected, or it could be your top half. And then no, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, your top half, or like the left side or the right side.
All right, so one half.
Yeah, and then they have quadriplegia, which we know quad means 4. So basically, quadriplegic, it can be definitely every limb could be affected.
Right.
Paraplegic as well.
And
so yeah,
do you know which one is the, by chance, and I know I'm just throwing this at you without asking you beforehand, do you know which one is the most common? Is there one that's more common than others?
Because I researched earlier today that the spastic is more common. The spastic, like the tightness, but let me just go back with the 4 different types.
Okay.
They have the mono, which is like one limb. Then they have the hema, which is half the body, like
the
left side or your right side. Then they have diplegia, which is the top portion or the bottom portion. And then they have which is the whole portion. Yeah. So so spastic isn't a kind. Spastic is just one sort of I guess
the way that the limbs, like the atrophies on the limbs,
the rigidness of how they work. So yeah, so she was basically diagnosed with spastic diplegia, meaning that she's tight like her bottom half, her legs. That's one of the reasons why she can't walk.
Okay. And usually with a CP, is it more just something neurologically that affects the limbs of the body versus actual like cognitive and developed functioning within the brain?
Yes, it affects the limbs, because a lot of kids, well, all kids, I believe, I know, with cerebral palsy are very, very smart. It's just a part of the brain that basically affects their motor development and their mobility and their motor movement. So, but yeah, all the kids with cerebral palsy are fairly smart.
Okay. And now, so as time went on, you guys did a lot of that, early therapy with both of the girls. What kind of things transitioned, and what challenges did you find as Nykiah aged?
Well, the main challenge with me, because when I had Nykiah, I was active duty military. I was in the Army. So that was a challenge in itself. So when we transferred from my home station, I was stationed at home in Orlando. When we were transferred from Orlando to here to Savannah, my husband didn't transfer with us. So it was just me and the girls. Me being full-time Army, having to get up early in the morning, doing different things. One of the challenges I found was childcare.
Okay.
Someone that I know, that would take care of her, like I would take care of her. So for a while I had her in a home daycare setting, and it went pretty well, but, I did have some challenges there because, as they aged out, she was on one in the daycare that actually couldn't walk, so they would like lay on the floor, and, in one instance, she actually fractured her knee because I'm sure they laid her on the floor and one of the kids, accidentally stepped on her knee. So that was one of the challenges. was daycare mainly.
Okay. And what about now as she's gotten into the school setting? Has it actively, worked, like you guys have an individualized educational plan, right, at
Yeah.
school for other health impairments and whatnot? Do they effectively, do you find that they effectively follow that, or did you come upon any resistance or issues as she's kind of gone on through her educational years?
Well, initially, her IEP and everything was great. She has always been in inclusion, regular ed inclusion since kindergarten.
Mhm.
So from kindergarten all the way to ninth grade, she was in a regular education class, and she had a para assisting her. Now that was another challenge, is basically having the same para follow her from first grade to second grade to third grade, and we were pretty successful with that initially. Mainly for one, I got very involved in the school. I was a PTA president for about 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
There, so they knew,
New.
and they knew what to expect
Right.
of us. So, throughout elementary, it was easy. The IEP, everything was good. She had a pair that followed her everywhere, changing her while she's in school, feeding her because she needs basically everything to be done for her. Transitioning on from elementary to middle school was pretty smooth. We had all of her equipment that she had at elementary school moved over to the middle school. We fought again to get a full-time para. They basically all
Right.
go. She can't have a full-time para. She can't have a para by herself. But thank God, we were able to jump over that hurdle. And throughout middle school, she had a para. Moving on to high school, because she's in high school now. Ninth grade was good. It was a struggle getting paras. We finally got a para, but they weren't as willing to follow her IEP as far as accommodations and some modifications. She was in high school, so we had to struggle with that. We made it over, but Nykiah, a child who loved school, she all of a sudden she didn't like school anymore. She didn't even want to go to school.
Oh.
So she, I guess seeing me advocate for her throughout the years, she basically advocated for herself, and she decided that she wanted to go into the what they call the self-contained room, where basically all of her friends were, all the kids that ride the bus with her were in that room. And so, we sat down and we had a conversation, and we made a decision to move her to self-contained, and you can see that smile, and she's loved it since.
So then her whole entire school day is spent with that same grouping of kids versus going classroom to classroom and all of that.
Although they switch between two classes, but yes, the same group of kids. And she's learned a lot. She's one of the smarter ones in the class. Matter of fact, we had our annual IEP today.
Okay.
I is part of this Aspire program that they call in school, and she actually led the IEP. She introduced everyone in the room and what their jobs were, and she actually read off, her goals and everything on IEP. She read it off to my husband and myself. So she's starting to advocate for herself.
That is so good, Nykiah. I love it. And so, I know that, Paula, you guys have been on before also advocating for the adult changing tables across the United States. And when we talk about that and reference it, do many of her friends or others in the CP community also have that same issue with the need as they age for the adult changing tables?
Oh yes, they do. She used to go to a camp here previously, and a lot of the kids that attended the camp have cerebral palsy. So we would see them there at the camp, and they're all like over the age of 17. And I'm friends with most of the parents, and yes, we all have that struggle
challenge
tables, going out into the community.
Right. And how is that in the high school setting? Are they pretty accommodating to that? If there is accidents and needs, has that become a fight? I mean, I know that my son wasn't toiletry until about 10. Obviously, he doesn't have CP and he has other types of delays. But even though I'm a huge advocate and involved, it was a little bit of a struggle in getting those teachers effectively in aids for changing and all of that. How has that been, as she has aged, or friends possibly that she has that you've talked to?
Well, again, for me, it's been pretty smooth because again, I'm very involved. I'm always
Right.
there, and and the same equipment that she had from elementary school because well, that one they had a different one at the high school, so it's bigger. But they actually just renovated the special needs room they call it the
Oh,
bathroom
good.
that they have, and Nykiah, she's pretty much the only one that use it. Also, they do have a toilet in there. Some of the other kids use it, but she's the only one currently that uses the changing table.
Okay.
But so yeah, so they have a system worked out because she has two classes that she attends, and each class has a para. So twice a day, both paras take her into the bathroom and they
Okay.
change. They
Okay. So that has been a good transition.
yes, that has.
Okay. Now, for other folks watching, you're to this point and I know you're an amazing advocate. Obviously, you've been on advocating for other things. What would be your advice to other young parents that maybe their child is just born, with CP and they're finding out? What were the things and avenues to kind of help you through this process that you found the most effective? Or even Nykiah, your husband, her sister as a sibling, any of that?
Yeah, well, for me, because when I see people out, I talk to everyone, and my girls would always ask me, "Mama, why every time you see someone in a wheelchair, why do you go and talk to them, or why do you go and talk to their mom?" And my answer to that is because they may be able to tell me something that I don't know, or I may be able to tell them something that they don't know. So, even when I'm out in the community, every time I see someone in a wheelchair or see someone that's walking and it looks like they may have cerebral palsy, I go up and I talk to their parents, and ask them because, if the child is younger than Nykiah, again, I can help them, or even if the child is younger, they can tell me some things as well. So that's basically how I've been getting all my resources, word of mouth. I Google, Facebook has a lot of different pages and resources for people with
Right.
cerebral palsy, but my main thing would be to basically talk one-on-one personally with, someone that you see that has a child with cerebral palsy.
And have you ever tried in this whole journey of your guys? Have you ever went to any parent support groups? I know there's so many support groups that are online right now. Have you gone into any of those type of support groups, or have you done any like that the hospital maybe after they were born referred you to, or is there even many, or is that something for the CP
I don't
community?
even
There's not
know.
tons
Yeah,
of.
I don't even know if there. I'm sure there are many, but I haven't heard, and I know there's not many here in my area. That's one
Okay.
thing last year I was talking about with some of the moms here, basically getting a support group because when Nykiah at school, when they have their Special Olympics, I see tons of kids in wheelchairs. Whether it be cerebral palsy, spina bifida, multiple muscular dystrophy, whatever the disability, I see tons of them at Special Olympics because they're there because it's a school day. But when I go out in the community, I don't see them. And then my question was, well, where are these people? How do they, how are they functioning?
Right. Are they getting out in the community after school time?
Yes, exactly. So last year, that was one of my things where I was talking to some parents about actually trying to get a support group here in Savannah to support some of the younger parents that may not have a lot of the resources or the information.
Right.
Although they do have a program here called Babies Can't Wait, which is like once your child is a certain age and then they go to the children's intervention services. So they have a lot of different programs that are out there, but you just basically have to research and look. And I guess at the hospital here, I'm sure they would tell them about it as well.
Right, right. Now, I know that there is a huge day coming up on Saturday, and that is World CP Day. And so can you tell me a little bit more about that? I mean, from what I have been reading and seeing, I mean, it really truly is all over the world. Everybody's involved. People have videos up. It's pretty awesome.
And I'm so happy to see it. I'm so happy to see it. I'm a name drop a person that I friended today on Facebook named Heaven Ramsey. I don't know too much about her, but and she's down south somewhere further, but she's doing some amazing work. She's sending pictures from around the world where a lot of these communities and downtowns are lighting it up green for cerebral palsy. And
Oh,
she's went to cerebral palsy alliances and different places like that. So I'm just happy to see this year because it's growing and it's going to continue to grow because there's more information being put out there. Facebook and Instagram is definitely
right.
a lot. So I'm just great to see all the green, and we're just ready for Saturday. And I can't wait to March, because March is actually Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. And, I hate that it's in contention with St. Patrick's Day, because, so when we're green, everybody's going to think, we're in support of St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
We're actually in support of Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month in March. So, but I'm just looking forward to Saturday. Saturday, just a day, basically just to bring awareness about cerebral palsy, and just basically get the word out. So we're just asking everyone if you can just paint the town green, change your screensavers on your Facebook, Instagram green, wear green to work tomorrow.
Right. Find your really warm sweater in the closet.
Yeah.
And put it on.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do. And there is a website, isn't there, like World Cerebral Palsy Day? I think we can drop that below. I thought when I checked that out, I think on there they have like different ideas for workplaces, like other ways that you can, that you can get involved. Now, is there any walks, or is it more kind of lighting up the town? Is there any like meetings or gatherings that people are doing that you know of? I
don't know, but I've heard they have this one campaign that I saw on Facebook called Lemonade for Cerebral Palsy, and that's a walk. And I actually talked to someone here, a special education teacher, yesterday, and she said that they do a walk here in Savannah, and I was like, I have not heard of it. Please give me the information to whomever it is, so that we could actually plan a walk here one day soon. But yeah, things are happening all over the world.
That is so cool. I just love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think that, for some of the different diagnoses, you see that people have caught on to doing it, but it means so much. I mean, people don't realize how much that means when it's something you're affected with, that people are actually taking that much awareness, wanting to learn about it. And I think you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think that there is over 17 million people in the world that have cerebral palsy. Is that correct?
Yeah. And then I learned today too that I didn't know that Black children are more prone to not being able to, or needing assistance walking, or not being able to walk with cerebral palsy. I didn't know that. It was like 1.7 times more that a Black child won't be able to walk with cerebral palsy, or will need assistance in walking with cerebral palsy.
Now, is there any, when you're saying that, is there also any ethnic background that is more, what would be the word? I don't want to say prevalent, would be more apt to have CP?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just basically, just low risk factors, multiple births. I don't think so.
And I have to say that probably about, I think it's 6 different moms I've talked to, they do have twins. So that I wonder where that sits. Maybe by the end of this whole series, we will have all of it out there. By the time we talk to everybody, we have figured all of it out. But 17 million individuals and, people in the United States, that's a huge, huge number of people. So we should all get out there, do our best to campaign and throw on some green, right, Nykiah?
And make everybody aware, because like I said, all children with cerebral palsy, they're smart. It's just basically their limbs, motor development that doesn't work. So I know another mom that's here on Facebook has this campaign called Don't Stare, because we get the stares when we go out. Nykiah, a lot of times she has to wear bibs because she drools. She gets stares from kids, but she also, gets stares from adults as well. And when she gets stared at by kids, I always tell her, just say hi. I tell her to say hi to them. And if she says hi, either they turn their head, and go look the other way, or, they would smile and they would say hi to them. So I would just like to just tell everybody that's out there, if you see, a child or an adult, anyone in a wheelchair or seems to have a disability, don't stare at them, sit, talk, or, just speak to them, and don't look at the disability, look at the person, basically.
Right. And who really, Nykiah? Like, I can't even do a show. Like, you just make me, your mom's talking serious, and I just keep smiling. Between you and Rosie, I don't know if you caught, Rosie was on this last week with alopecia. Let me tell you, the two of them, I'm like, they've made my whole month. They really have. They have them both on. So, we're going to drop some of those links below. And then also the United Cerebral Palsy is just a general organization that, you know, gathers funds, I would say, for research. Do you know anything before we hop off and wrap up for tonight? Do you know where research is at right now? You know, with them finding any type of cure or help with the contractures and things like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, from what I've read, there's basically not a cure, but, you know, there's things that, like, such as Botox for Nykiah's case. You know, a lot of people think Botox is, you know, a cosmetic
Right.
type, but she used to receive Botox injections to help with her spasticity. So it would actually loosen, you know, like how it loosens up the muscles, actually loosens up the muscles. So so there are some measures that, you know, we can take as parents medically to help, you know, induce or reduce the tightness or whatever the case may be. But as far as a cure, I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Well, and we're going to keep diving into that because, you know, Paula and Nykiah are our first stop here, which I'm excited about for this whole series. And so by the end of it, we should have all of the numbers and know everything that is going on for this. So if you don't catch any of the other episodes coming up, make sure Saturday you're wearing green, or you put a green light outside, or you put some green nail polish on. Maybe that's what I'll do. Does she have...
We got
the green wristband. Love it.
The man said we're in this together.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And then were those shirts made for a walk? I love her shirt.
They were made by my friend LaToya Brown. I'm name dropping. She has a big saying on the back about hope, faith, strength, prayer, and all that. And but we have some big things coming for Saturday too. So stay tuned, y'all.
All right. That sounds perfect. Well, I thank you guys for spending some of your, I don't even know what today is. Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? It's Wednesday. Is it Thursday? That's how my week has been. Yeah. Thank you guys for spending your Thursday evening with us. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Nykiah, for sharing tonight. If you guys want to find out any more information about the On Air Advocate or our services, go to www.onairadvocate.com. Also, if you want to become part of our private community, head up to the top of this Facebook page, hit the Visit Group blue tab, and that will take you to our private group. And we'll drop all the links below. And we will see you guys painting the town green this whole weekend. All right. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.